And especially important with hand scraping is to stone the areas, especially with roughing, because you have a lot of high spots, really. After stoning, you will see them as shiny areas. I'm trying to rough down to get to where I, of course, take out the wear, but also then reduce these hacksaw marks to minimum. And then it is important to control measure again. So I'm using the either 2 or 300 so millimeter shim. So say 1000, and it's only getting in a little bit here towards the headstock end. So we have a small area there where we have a little bit wear left. So just continue on. And I'm actually getting closer to having the hinge point or points 30% in. So getting in the right direction, but of course there is a lot less coverage than needed. So you can see that when I show you the bluing up here. You can see here it's high there. Here is scraped down, and then we have some bearing over here under the headstock and scattered around. So we have to take care to measure the underside also at this point, so we don't deviate in any direction too far at least. So we just measure the corners again after flipping it around and then verifying that these are in the same planes. Then we know that we have been taking it straight down. And based on measurements now that I will take, it looks like I've taken it too far down. So it's tipping a little bit down. And hence, to correct that, of course, I have to take down, step scrape it from the rear to get it flat again. And then scraping from where I pointed out in a stepped way towards the headstock end there will correct this error. But I can also then avoid hitting the area where I know it is low. So it little bit deviation from normal step scraping over also. And then just verifying with shims again. So this is my game plan ahead now. So here I'm starting with the step scraping, just planning ahead a little bit. From the tailstock end where I know it is low, I leave that alone. So taking that as my reference 0 now. Mark out these two areas as 0, these two ways. And then the area where I have the wear, I can take a little bit on just the blue there, but then leave that area alone, really. So just a little bit. And then over here, I can reduce it a little bit. First, let's say 1 time or maybe 2 times. Then over here, then the same or a little bit more. Maybe this 1, 2, and then this 3. Something like that. Okay, let's try. So then we have a game plan that we follow. Just taking that area over from the headstock end there. And then we have turned the bed around to take the inside so that I don't accidentally hit the corners or make, well, it's better to take it this way. At least I like to divide it like that. And then control measuring again. And I see that this is really 8 or actually 1/10 of a millimeter or 800 of a millimeter, like 3 to 4 thou on the headstock end there, which is probably the original geometry. And then, of course, it's a little bit wonky because of wear, but at least then still worn down on the top. So I need to take that further down. But I can't really trust these short surfaces underneath there too much. So I'll have to take that actually afterwards down again because there's too much wear. I would really have loved to use this surface as reference, but since this is worn, it's not really possible to determine anything with the high degree of precision. Other than that, the area under the headstock is pristine, but I won't touch that. It seems like this machine has been under work before because it's substantially higher over at the headstock end there. But anyway, we'll try to determine what we can by also measuring at this surface. But we see that it's kind of wonky, goes up and down towards 0 from where I set it. So it's possible to take down just the area and the working length, I think, and leave the headstock area alone. So I think I actually have to take down a little bit more straight down there, because if we flip it around again and measure, so you can see that there is still, of course, the worn area left. So I'll take it a little bit further down towards the headstock and there on the right hand side of the worn area. I think that's what I'm going to do now, tipping it a little bit more over. And we can see now it went almost 500 of a millimeter down on the headstock end there, 2 thou. So measuring again here, following the progress, and these are consistent with this what I expected. So it's gradually coming. So bluing up again. And I'm feeling that it starts to creep in towards the middle and get more area contact. That is felt by that it sits a little bit tighter and it pivots, hinges. But it's a little bit high there. And as we can see here, it has some contact points, not good coverage, but some. And it starts creeping in there. So taking it careful, and then of course over the end there. And at this stage we are taking it a little bit slower, I mean more detail. A little bit of wear left, but starting to get there. And I think that I have used about, well, a couple of hours. So I mean, there's a lot of incentives to grind it, not just picking the worst bed for hand scraping also was probably not the wisest decision. And continuing measuring on the surface there, I see that I have taken it further down and that the error is now 300ths of a millimeter, or say 1 thou. So that is within reasonable, let's say, tolerances to scrape on this surface afterwards if it blues up on the top surface. So it sits much better now. And I've also then coated a little bit more blue. You can see that it hinges better from both sides, and I can feel it getting a little bit better coverage, although not consistently overall or good enough, but coming along good. So as we can see now, a little bit better here, and creeping in here where there was wear. So that's a telltale of going in the right direction. So just carrying on. And I see I've taken a little bit too much some places. So scrape the blue now, not just area scraping, but just the blue. It takes a little bit longer time, but it's better to do that.